Welcome to the Renaissance Man podcast, proudly presented by the New York Post, a show where we cover trends in fashion, entertainment, current events, and everything in between. My next guest is uber talented. He's a Grammy-winning singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, record producer, and his influence and artistry has been seen and heard everywhere. He recently announced the Raphael Saadiq revisits Toni, Tone. Yeah. The It's Just Me and You tour. Great stages in the United States. And I just got an updated date in Charlotte on 9/22. It is my honor to welcome the incredible Raphael Saadiq to the show. What up, though, family?
What up, though? Jalen, Mr. Rose. What's good, bro? Man, I'm such a fan, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny when I said, I was like, Jalen, I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, I know all the shows, all his shows, everything, all the theme music, all the music he used, all the pictures in the background.
No
the
doubt.
Jacksons, the OJs.
Yes.
Like, yo, all of it.
Appreciate the love.
One love,
area cousin, you know Detroit and Oakland, we cousins.
Of course, you know that.
Yes, and you're the second youngest of 14 siblings. What was it like up in a household of 14 siblings?
Well, lucky, man, everybody wasn't at the house. Lucky my dad did half of his work early, and then later, I was like the mistake kid, they said. You know what I mean? So I wasn't in the house with a lot of them, but I would go to the house where everybody was at. So it was really cool because, you know, it's cool because when you go to a different school, your family already set the bar for you. When you get there, you have to live up to your brother's expectations. So it was cool. You get a lot of cool clothes, little hand-me-downs, and you figure out what you don't want to do, how you don't want to get in trouble, like one of your brothers and sisters. You get to learn a lot, you know? It was great.
Absolutely. And one of the things about Oakland and the Bay Area is the versatility for so very long that you guys have as it relates to music and artistry. So when do you remember first discovering music, and which artists were you listening to as you were growing up?
So in Oakland, it was so many local people that people don't know that was better than everybody. You know, it's like, you know, Hook, the basketball player everybody talks about in Oakland, right? So growing up around, like, you know, athletes, musicians, it was the same for musicians. You know, we had our own we had our own bands. We had our, like, Sly and the Family Stone. We had, you know, Larry Graham was our, like, he was our hero if you played bass. He was our thing. We had this guy named Robert Ball who never made it, but to us, you know, he was the king. And still a guy named Big Wayne used to ride around a 10-speed with no shirt on, with his guitar around his neck and a boombox playing Jimi Hendrix. Those are my idols. Those are the dudes who I look up to, who man, I mean, them dudes will, like, say, hey, I said, can you teach me something? Yeah, you want to learn something? Meet me at the tennis course first and play tennis with me. I'm like, I can't play tennis. Well, just meet me there. It was a lot of cats like that. That like Oakland legends that really got me inspired. Like people playing in every block had a garage with bands in it. People who played with Natalie Cole, who played with different people. So man, I tell people all day, I'm lucky that I even made it. Cats was so much better than me, you know, but I had all that. The bar was set, it was so high. You know, like it's like Detroit. Detroit is like there's something in the water in Detroit. People could really go in Detroit, you know. So it was the same in Oakland. Every corner was singing on the corner, bands everywhere. So I got it, honestly.
And the crazy thing, and I'm glad you brought up Hook. I remember coming to the Bay, playing ball with him, and he had a dunk contest. I was there, GP, Brian Shaw, Kid, they were all there. and Antonio Davis, and they were like,
Antonio.
he's literally gonna jump over the car.
Over the car. Yeah.
Right. See, and Blake Griffin, people sleep on, like he jumped and dunked and landed on the car. Like Hook jumped over the car, dunked the ball, and landed on the ground. And it was one of the craziest things that I saw have happen that used to be urban legend, but I got a chance to see it play out in real life.
Yeah, so yeah, it has a lot of rich things like that. You know, musically is there's a lot of rich aesthetic music stores. Really, man, I was trying to work in a record store just so I could be around music. I just wanted to be around it. And all the singing stuff is that just happened, bro. Like I can't I'm very blessed and very thankful, but it wasn't I'm a bass player. I play for people. I play for people who sing. I never really tried to be a singer. It just kind of happened, and I was like, I better rock with it. Just roll. Let's go.
Well, the crazy thing in 1984, shortly before your 18th birthday, you found out quick because you got the tryouts in San Francisco for Sheila E.'s background band.
Yeah.
On Paradise Tour. Next thing you know, you from the Bay to Tokyo in the stadium singing Roddick City, Can't You See? Tell me about the audition, how it changed your life, where it happened.
Yeah, so Sheila E she's a big deal in Oakland now, but she's a legend. But I was at this guy house named Joe, and I just happened to be at the studio in the right place at the right time, and somebody called and said, "Is anybody up there can play bass and sing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so the next day I went to the audition. I think some guy had already got the gig. Then I played. Then Levi Caesars was Sheila's musical director. He came to me and said, "Just hang around. You got the gig." So I remember taking the BART back to the bed to Oakland and going to my boys' house, and they was all sitting in the living room watching MTV, and I was like, "Bro, I got the gig. I'm about to be playing with Sheila." And everybody's like, "Oh, that's cool," but they was looking at me like, "Damn, he about to leave," because I was in a band with them. So a couple of days later, the next day, I went back to the audition. My mother said, "You should take Tim," which is the other Toni. And I said, "Well," she said, "Don't bring anybody yet. She's not for sure." My mother said, "Just take him." My mother doesn't play music. She's a straight church lady. Don't know anything about R&B, but you know, BB King and whoever else she heard. So I took Tim, and she said, "Who's that?" I said, "That's my friend Tim." Put him on the drums. I put him on the drums, and then it's me and my friend Tim. Then I put my buddy Carl. So three of my friends, we all went to Tokyo. We played with Prince. It was amazing to watch the level of how professional he was and she was, how they rehearsed and how they worked on improving the band, and from accounting, like Prince, from his accounting people, road managers, tour managers. I just was like a sponge, man. I just walked around and watched everything they did. And you know, Prince is funny. Like we'll go to a party and Prince will tell, "Is there enough girls here for you?" And he had hired the whole Ford model agency. You know, this time I had a Jerry curl, a fanny pack around my waist, had a shirt on with glitter on it that said Taurus, the bull on it. I mean, I was looking a mess, bro. But when Prince is standing next to you and talking to you, when he moves away, the girls just gravitate to you. You know what I mean? You look, you know, I got it right later on, but I was out there looking a mess. But you know what? This is the funny story. So when I auditioned, everybody had on Prince hats, like the Prince hat, makeup, all this crazy stuff. And what I had on was a windbreaker, some 501, some blue Nike Cortez, and my Detroit baseball cap.
Yes. Oh, English.
That's what I wore for the whole tour. After the gigs, I always would take everything off we had to wear and put back on my Detroit cap. That was my hat, Eddie. That was my hat. 86, I was. Oh, parade tour. Yeah.
That's love. That's love. Rest in peace, Prince. One of the most talented people to ever do it. And I'm pretty sure he was a crazy inspiration for you because, as I mentioned, you're a multi-instrumentalist who also writes, who also sings, who also performs. So just talk about his inspiration on you and your career.
Yeah, he was a big inspiration because he played every instrument. He really loved music. You really gotta love it. I love music just like you love hoop. I love how you talk about basketball as a commentator because you one of those cats like how Dion say, you know, when he gets into a debate, he can say, you know what? I actually played the game.
Thank
For
you.
me, for
Right.
me being an artist, I can actually say when I'm singing, I actually play this. I actually play a lot of instruments and listen to a lot of different styles of music. So being around him, you can see how much he loved playing piano, drums, bass, guitar, making a song come together, loving the response he's getting from people, you know, in the world. And he could also pick out cities that he knew that was special to him. Like Washington, D.C. is like a special city for me. I don't know why, but I can go there in the daytime and I can feel the energy of the happy. At around 5 o'clock, I'll go to a bar and I can feel the energy of the people are getting ready to come to the show. And I know what the music sounded like. And Prince is the same way as far as Detroit is kind of where it kicked it off at the skating ring. He used to play at the skating ring. I forget the DJ in Detroit that played Prince records first, but I hear the story all the time. But you hear in his music, he talks about the Detroit crawl. So
Mhm.
to be an artist and know who was the day ones before you blew up and who really got it is a thing that I took from Prince too. You have to know how to read your audience, and he's amazing at reading the audience.
And you didn't stop there. Like you ended up becoming 1/3 of one of the greatest trios to ever make music. Toni, Toni, Tone. So I have to ask you, where did the name of the group come from?
Actually, it's Tony, Tony, Tony. But how where it came from
Tony,
was
Tony.
what but mother said the same thing. But it's actually came from ah 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 Antonio. I want to say Antonio Banderas. That's not his name though. The Untouchables.
Hmm.
Uh, the Untouchables. So when they went to hire the sharpshooter, his name was Tony. Antonio, right? Antonio. That's his actor's his real name. His name was Tony. And so we watched this movie, and my brother used to put like this perm in his hair and have his hair really like slick. He was like, you know what? If I went to school on the first day, my teacher wouldn't even call me Dwayne. She would call me Tony, Tony, Tony. And we used to laugh. And so we played at this gig, this wedding gig before we sort of got on. We didn't have a name. It was just a trio. We just playing cover songs. And this guy was like, I don't know what the name of this group is, but what's the name of the group? And my brother just looked at the guy and said, Tony, Tony, Tony. And we was laughing. And then when the guy said it to the audience, he said, please welcome Tony, Tony, Tony. And we said it had a little ring. So once we got the deal, we just kind of rolled with it. And it was funny to us, but then it became a real thing. You know, when I came home from tour one day, my mom was like, Tony. I'm like, oh, not you too, mom. But yeah, it became a real thing. But it's amazing being with my brother and Tim. You know, it's like I said, it's been a long time. So it's great.
Reuniting after 25 years. So we've seen this happen a lot in sports. We've seen this happen with artists where for whatever reason, there's a period of time where you're seeing eye to eye and you're doing shows together and you're doing records together. And then there's a period of time where you're not.
Yeah,
What's it been like for each of you guys, relationship wise and musically, over these past couple of decades where you guys
yeah,
weren't making music and doing shows together?
yeah, man. We were always tight. Me and my brother, we always had love for each other. My father, we have a very loving family. So, you know, we know how not to fight. So when we got on, you know, you get on, you get new friends, you get new money, get new
Mhm.
girls, and then it just all changes, right? You know, you have different people in between you kind of talking. And
Yeah.
so that part, you know, we didn't fight. We just disagreed. And everything happened how it had to happen. My brother, we were cool. He was the party guy. I was the guy worried about you know, I've seen so many people come in and make it and they're done in 1 year. I was a little nervous about coming in making a record and not being around in 2 years. So
Mhm.
we toured, we came together, got it together, played. turned it out, did some shows, did some beautiful tours, made some beautiful music together. And then I was like, okay, it's time to go. I just came home one day and said, I didn't quit. I just said, I came home and sat backwards on my piano, and I moved to Sacramento. My mom had moved to Sacramento. I didn't know anybody up there. Ended up meeting Brian Grant. I opened up a detail shop, and for this guy I met, it was really cool. Opened up this detail shop, and we used to wash all the Kings cars and the government and everybody. So I met Mitch Richmond, Brian Grant, Walt Williams, all those Corliss Williams, all those guys. And I just watched basketball. I bought season tickets because I didn't want to ask anybody for tickets. First time having season tickets on the floor. I just stopped and I just watched basketball for maybe like 2-3 years. And I didn't really do any music. And I just left. That was it. I left. B. Grant became my best friend. And that was trouble. That was crazy. That was NBA crazy.
No doubt.
That's what I did. I think I even ran into you in Miami one time.
I would not be surprised. Me and B. Grant were in the same draft, so I would not be surprised. And that's what I was going to ask you, since you transitioned for a few years to watch a lot of basketball. What are some of your favorite stories being a Kings season ticket holder?
I think the Lakers, when they was playing the Lakers in the playoff, and I remember going to the game when they played in LA. And, you know, I knew Weber, I knew a couple Kings, but not really that good. But when I came to the game and I walked past their bench, everybody from the Kings turned around and shook my hand, you know, like, oh. And then I just looked around and said, they nervous as hell. I was like, if they all just shook my hand, they all nervous as hell. They was like, hey. I'm like, oh, they nervous as hell right now. But I think that was probably the funniest thing that I noticed, you know, about the Kings. But my funniest, I think I went to a game. I seen Seattle play the Bulls, and John was playing at that time. Sally, and Sally is like my brother.
No doubt. Mine too.
So Sally was like, after halftime, he walked on the court, and it was just him and Jordan. Jordan was shooting around. He goes, you know, walking, like, come here, like come to me. I'm like, bro, I'm not walking out on the court. It's disrespectful. I'm sorry.
Get me arrested.
Right. I'm standing behind the line, you know, and he's like, he just stood in the middle, like, come here. So I walked on the court, and Jordan was shooting around. I was like, oh, that's pretty dope, you know. But that was cool. And then I think my New York stories is I was at the game when Jordan got dunked on by Starks.
Ooh, with the left baseline.
I was there. And so I think the Bulls was winning. I think the Bulls might have lost that game because I tried to get up and leave, right, when it was almost over, and the New York fans would not let me leave.
I didn't
even know that they were paying attention to who I was rooting for, but I tried to get up and do like this, and man, everybody in front of me, behind me, turned around like, sit your ass down. I was like, oh, whoa. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're intense. And also, I'm going to ask you, being from the Bay, at one point in time, the largest radio station was KMEL. And I got a chance to go to a few of the summer jams in the early 90s, the time when Hammer was the #1 artist. I seen Too Short. I was hanging with my boy Mark Murray. I was there with Money Key and Clee, Digital Pop, like just in the mix, right? At the Too Short Cadillac Club party, the Players Ball, So give everybody a snapshot that don't know about them KMEL summer jams and how they really put on for the Bay.
Man, the KMEL summer jam, they put on for the Bay. You just named, like, that's the gym. Everybody you name, Hammer, Short, Shock G, Money B. I mean, it was so lit when you played at the summer jam. It was so hot, and you know, people. It's like the town's best. We got to come and show what we got. We all got deals. We all making a little bit of money. And, you know, the town is a hard place to play for. They love you and they respect you, but you have to bring it. They love you because you're from the hometown, but they really, if you're garbage, you trash, they're gonna treat it like that. But I mean, the Bay was just so turned up, man. It was so much love. You know, a lot of like it's just like Detroit and Chicago as far as a lot of tragedy and all of that. But I always like to remind people about how beautiful Oakland is, how much how much it could teach you. Some of the we had some of the most amazing teachers in school. Some of my teachers were, would pull me to the side and tell me what I need to do in music, how I need to move in life, what kind of people I'm going to be around if I become a professional. And I've learned so much there. But the Cameo Summer Jam, I mean, on the way, man, people calling you on your phone. That's when we had pages.
Oh, no
And
doubt.
people trying to get in. I'm trying to get in. I'm like, bro, I can't help you. It's
Right.
nuts.
Better get on the lawn. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do it. Bro, I mean, I can't do nothing for you. I mean, just
Yeah.
that intensity from walking from your car at Cameo to a backstage and seeing all those artists and different people. Whenever I played there when it was almost over and we hadn't rehearsed and we was playing it real easy and I drove up, I was riding this stupidly, I was riding a motorcycle, I was riding this Harley Davidson. And I pull up and this band is on there killing it. And I'm like, damn, we gotta work. It was Escape.
Ooh.
Escape was letting everybody have it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard.
Right.
It's killing it. But yeah, it Cameo, man, I mean, you set it off. I want MC Hammer too, man. That is like, I love Hammer. Hammer was down for me. I had some issues with a label one time, and Hammer was huge at the time. He was on tour. On his day off, he flew back to have a meeting with these people with me, with about 4 or 5 people. I got the biggest love for MC Hammer.
Me too. Me too. And they put me in the mix video, and
Oh wow.
Can't Touch This, as you brought up John Sally, my brother too. That was the first time sports actually embraced rap music.
Wow.
See, now when you look watching an NBA game, they're playing music all of the time during timeouts, doing warm-ups, right? But back then, only playing like Whoop, There It Is, or Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It.
Right, that's true.
Those are the only songs. And then Hammer came, and that You Can't Touch This, he paired with the Pistons and the Bad Boys, and he took that thing to a whole nother level.
The coolest, the craziest basketball player I ever met was Mark McGuire.
Mm-hmm.
With John, I met him. He just started talking trash to me. He was like, I don't even like your music. He told me, he was drinking. He said, I don't even like your music. He said, I like God. I don't like y'all. I mean, we was battling, talking. We talked a lot of trash. Good guy.
No doubt. Shout to the legend, Mark McGuire. There are a few people that you've collaborated with. If you don't mind, when I bring up their name, just give me a snapshot of what it was like to work with this person, if that's cool.
Of course.
Whitney Houston.
Bobby Brown. I mean,
Mary
because
J. Blige. Go ahead. Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown. Tell me the story.
It's just because we were working and then end up eating some Indian food with Bobby Brown just by herself. And he was telling me like, man, everybody think that like I was a problem. And he was like, it's not me. You know what I mean? He was really, he was like, it wasn't me. Just out of the blue. But I always got love for Bobby.
Wow, that's
he's a member. Yeah.
No doubt. How about Mary J. Blige?
Wow, Mary, that's hard one word. Mary, I would say when Mary came to the studio, she said, where can I get some good soul food? When she worked with me. I had to send her to the best barbecue rib joint.
No doubt. How about this one? The legends. Isley Brothers.
Oh, wow. Ernie Isley. Man, that's my idol. He just locked me in a room and just schooled me. He closed the door, boom. And he just started telling me how when people, all these journalists always call a lot of different people and ask about Jimi Hendrix, but they don't call him and he lived with Jimi Hendrix, and he was in the room with Jimi Hendrix, so he watched him play guitar. He's like, but they never called me, and he just kept drilling me about it. He said, "You think they called me?" And I'm just sitting there, just listening, like, wow. Then I got a chance to play. I had a guitar track that I had on this song, and I said, I can take it off, and you could play it. He said, no, you leave your rhythm guitar on, and I'll solo over the top of what you're doing. And I said, okay, but I'm gonna play bass at the same time. And it's called Ernie's Jam, and we played together. I never thought that would ever happen in my life. You know what I mean? That's just like, it's crazy.
And we can't talk about artists that are bands without bringing up the Roots.
Wow, one of the baddest drummers ever. I'm a bass player, so that's like a point guard throwing to a center. You know what I mean? Like I'm a bass player, and you know, Questlove is the most solid drummer for a bass player, and the Roots itself is, Black Dog could just rhyme forever. Like his
Yes.
he could just rhyme forever. You know what I mean? The coolest dude. Like, we were the only bands back in the day when we came out. Correct. It was funny. People used to say, "How does it feel to be the only band?" And they thought we were gonna be like, "It feels great." I'm like, "It's terrible. You don't want to be the only band. There's nobody to tour with when you're the only band." Back in the day, we toured with NWA.
Right.
So we were in NWA when you watched the Cops come tear the stage up in Detroit. We was there. We played with them in Houston. So it was terrible being the only band. But then there ended up being 3 bands later on. It was us, the Roots, and Mint Condition.
And the crazy thing about that show in Detroit, I was there also. The police were not happy about the police. They lit firecrackers to make everybody scramble. But the one thing I appreciate about Detroit, not promoting violence or any disrespect to any human beings or the police, but we paid our hard-earned money, and we realized that there was an issue that got them running off stage, and people was throwing stuff at the cops.
Wow.
While they was trying to arrest them and they was trying to get on the tour bus, trust me, like that Detroit loading dock is right where people was leaving the arena, and people was not happy to pay all of that money that the show ended. And I have to ask you about somebody else that represents the Bay to the fullest. And shout out to E40, by the way. And Spice One, they showed love. Yes. I was at the Cameo Summer Jam, and 40's my brother to this day. But I need you to tell me a story about the late, great Tupac Shakur.
Wow, man, Tupac. It's funny. I always seen Tupac. I would see Tupac sometime. I seen him with Suge Knight one night in Los Angeles, and he had like a bottle of Hennessy in his back pocket. Well, he had it here first, and there was a whole bunch of people around. They were all together, and I was standing maybe 5 feet away from them, and I just walked up, and he sees me, and he walks away from everybody, and he walks up to me, and we have a really great conversation, away from all the noise. He looked at me and said, "How you doing? You good?" I said, "I'm good. You good? How you feeling?" "I'm feeling good, man. What you working on?" We're just talking about life. And then he went back over there, and he's a great actor, a method actor. He went back over there and got all in the chaos. So when we lost him, I always knew he was this other guy too. But he always showed respect when he seen somebody he knew, like, you shouldn't be around this. Yep. I'm a come to you. But he has that amazing spirit that people should look at more. You have that, you talk about your mother, I follow you like really tough, bro. So that I just feel we need that energy a lot and more in people. If you look at Pac's energy, I feel like we need to spread that around right now, because it's not these kids' fault what's happening, how it's happening, and what they're portraying to be. But he was definitely a beacon and a light, and I'm glad they're doing like all these documentaries and showing his artistry as an actor, as a creator, and finding all these things to do in school that they've taken out of schools. I went to my school, bro. The music room is empty.
Empty.
So Tupac just he's just all of that. He just shows you like when school had the arts in it. You know what I mean? So when every time I see him, when I drive down the street and I see like the billboard of this documentary, I swear every time I'm driving, I just do like this
Salute.
to him. I salute him.
No doubt. And you brought up something for those that have never heard this record, because it's really an unreleased record. I was telling people about this song for years because I was around in the studio during these years where Digital and Pac was recording this song. It's called What's Up With the Love. What's up with the love? What's up with the love? I want to make sure everybody go check out that record. It embodies everything you just said. The oxymoron of him juggling like his persona as it related to like thug life, and his persona that related to like his consciousness, and just being a righteous dude that wanted to see the right things happen for people around him. So I want to make sure everybody go check out that song. And also, speaking of records, you guys have anthems, and y'all about to be back on tour after 25 years. It feels good. It never rains in Southern California. Whatever.
Ooh, baby. Oh yeah, we about to hit him.
What can we expect on this tour that's about to kick off real soon?
I mean, I'm sitting in a place where I rehearse at right now. I slept here. That's why this is my yesterday's football uniform. I just woke up.
The Raiders.
Yeah, but no, we about to hit them, man. We taking it real serious. It's gonna be anniversary, just me and you. I have Dwayne, my brother, singing the medley of all his ballads. I mean, if I could like do this real quick without I'll give everybody a little like honey with it.
They working.
We working,
Sleeping
bro.
in the studio, working. Okay.
Sleeping, bro. We working. Then that's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4.
So as you do that, I have to ask you something. If you guys were to do a versus, who would you guys want to do it against, and why?
Wow, if we was to do a versus, it would be hard for us to do an R&B versus with somebody. The only person that we could do it with, he could actually beat us. That's Babyface. He can actually beat us. That's like my brother. That's the most competitive person I know. Some people, I seen him do a show with New Edition, and he wrote a lot of, some of the guys' songs. And I said, I went to the show. I said, bro, you sung the songs that they're gonna sing when they come on next. I said, why would you do that? He looked at me and said, those are my songs. I was like, what? I'm like, bro, I could never do it.
OG status.
OG. And then this girl said, this lady said, she said, you and Raphael should do a tour together. He was like, yeah, I would love to do that. Basically, I would love to just beat him down. But I don't know. I don't know. All the people that have that many songs, it would have to be somebody older. It would have to be back in the day. It would have to been Maze, who could have just played one song and squashed us forever. But we got a lot of hitters.
No doubt.
We got a lot of hitters, but we're gonna bring it so hard for this tour. I mean, you don't want to miss this show. This show is gonna feel what I said about the pop, about that nostalgia and that energy and that love. You're gonna feel the love between me and the band. Everybody's playing with me, my brothers and everybody. Like I said, I did good on my own as a producer, scoring film. Got a lot of accolades. I don't really care about awards, the Grammys. I never did. I really care about the music and and loving my mom. My mom is 91. Lost my dad 5 years ago. So everything I do for my family. I know you lost your mom not too long ago too.
Absolutely.
All love,
Absolutely. Prayer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's beautiful. I seen all the stuff in your school, mate. Just everything you're doing, bro. It's amazing. But this thing, I can feel the love like in the room. I said, like, I was good on my own. but it's nothing like the energy with Timothy Riley and my brother Dwayne Wiggins next to me. And I told him, bro, we get together, we can't be half stepping. We got to come and give people something they haven't seen in a long time, and also give these kids an opportunity to see how a band works. You know what I mean? Like I always use sports analogies because you know how you guys say, you know, like when you guarding somebody, you can't touch them no more, you can't hold them no more, right? And they can easily go around you and blah blah. That's how music is now. Music is the same way. People really not singing. You know, people really using all kind of different things to do it. I'm not. We're singing. That's it. We're playing. It's a real game. And I always say this too. There's a funny thing I say about Steph Curry. I call Steph Curry Chip secretly because I'm like, bro, I think Steph got a chip in his arm. It's like it's no. I call Steph Chip. I'm like, yeah, that's old Chip right there. But this industry does have a chip.
Yep.
And it's just, and I don't knock. I got some friends that do it, but I just want to give them the opportunity to see it, and then they can make their choice. But if they see it, they want to do it. They want to be challenged, and I'm challenging myself. It's not easy. It's not easy playing 38 songs.
Wow.
Yeah, we're playing 38 songs with arrangement.
Wow.
With a 12, 13 piece band.
That's when you got hits on hits on hits. And as you brought up Babyface, it reminded me, I would love to ask you this question before I get to this Gone in 60 Seconds and let you get out of here. Who are your top 5 singers who are also songwriters?
I'll say Donny Hathaway, Prince, Stevie. I would say Neil Young. I would say, I'm missing somebody huge. Top 5. Come on.
Babyface.
Oh, he's definitely in the top 5, but I'm trying to find a lady like Aretha Franklin.
Got you.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a lady. But yeah, Babyface is definitely has a crazy pen. I worked with him before, and to watch him work, how his brain thinks when he's writing a song, it's like he's on automatic pilot.
Wow, what a legend.
Yeah. But I'm a hip hop head though. More than I am. Like hip hop sort of saved my life. I'm the only person on Midnight Marauders. No R&B people made Midnight Marauders. I play bass on
facts on facts. I was gonna
play
ask
bass
you
on That Night Is on My Mind. You know, I play bass on it. I always tell Q-Tip, I'm like, bro, I'm the only R&B person on the album who played bass on The Night Is on My Mind. And I hold it up high.
You got the jazz.
Yeah, that's family. That's family.
Yeah, that's classic. And you can't have a list of top artists and groups of all time and not mention Tribe. If you don't mention Tribe, I don't respect you.
Not mention Dilla.
No doubt. Detroit. I just interviewed Slum Village recently on last week's show.
Wow. Yeah, that's
young RJ and T3 was on the show representing.
Mm-hmm. That's love. Yeah, Dilla is like that's the God. That's the I have a picture on one of my keyboards of Dilla, and it just reminds me how to be focused and how to work. Even when he was sick, he worked till he was gone. You know what I mean? And I can never get tired when I look at people like Dilla, Frankie Beverly, who was older and just out there just because he loves it. So I just love the love of it, man. So that takes all the distraction away from everything else.
No doubt. And I appreciate you taking the time. But before I let you get out of here, I got this rapid fire segment called Gone in 60 Seconds. You ready to do this?
Yep.
All right, here we go. I know you should play favorites, but if you had to choose, what city on your tour list are you most excited about?
DC, Washington, DC.
Yep, you mentioned that earlier. What's your favorite R&B song to set the mood?
Oh. Mm. Ooh, what move?
Whatever mood you
Any
trying to
move.
get in. You
Oh,
trying to
oh,
hype, you trying to
eh,
go to the bedroom, whatever mood you
oh,
trying to get
oh,
in.
oh, it's definitely Voice to Atlantis. Isley Brothers.
Ooh, legends. Name one artist you'd love to collaborate with in the future.
Oh, The Outcast.
Mm, we need that to happen.
Yeah,
Like
that's
we need that to happen.
the
Lastly,
cast.
but certainly not least, if you could give your younger self any advice, what would it be?
Sign your checks, your own checks.
Mm,
That one.
that part. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, my brother. We looking
Yeah,
forward to
thank
the
you, bro.
tour that's coming up, and I'm definitely
Yes,
gonna get out there to come and support.
please, man. Love that. Love that. Thank you, Jalen.